and welcome everyone to the Ginette Biro podcast. I'm Ginette Biro, and thank you so much for joining me today. I have some neat updates as always. My little cat's here to join me as well. That's the creaking of the door. So we have some really interesting things to share, and I say we because I'm talking on behalf of the 3 Guides of the Light. As always, these beautiful guides that have come in since truly the beginning of the pandemic to share insights of what's happening in regards to our evolution as we grow and evolve through this whole experience. And so as always, they have several points to share, and it was really quite interesting how they did so, and a little bit funny as well. So I'm just going to dive in and get into it so I can share these concepts with you guys. So first of all, though, if you haven't clicked subscribe, if you're watching this on YouTube, or even if you're listening on the podcast, go to YouTube and hit subscribe under the Ginette Biro podcast, and you guys will enter a chance to win in a free reading. So I highly recommend doing that. Also, if you're curious to have a safe space to talk about all things spirit, woo, consciousness, ascension, you name it, in a safe space with kindness and compassion, please join Avalon Spirit, the group on Facebook, Avalon Spirit. And that's a place where you guys can interact with me and many other like-minded souls in a safe space. It's fun. I like it. And to all of you that are already on there and have subscribed, I love you guys. Thank you so much. Truly appreciate it. So back to the messages of the 3 Guides of the Light. They wanted to start with saying that right now, the most contagious thing that we are dealing with, the biggest contagion out there, is fear. Truly, it is a greater pandemic than anything else we have. The greatest pandemic on our planet energetically is fear. People choosing to do things based on fear, people being limited based on fear. And they were saying that we have to stop seeing COVID as simply contagious and realize the greater contagion is fear. Just as we can put on a mask, they're saying, and wash our hands to prevent the spreading and catching of COVID, we can use the same symbolic principles for catching fear. Fear is a much more deadly pathogen. Fear kind of seeps in silently. I guess it could be compared like COVID just kind of seeps into the body. It sneaks in by droplets, right? Fear sneaks in energetically, but the thing is we are being bombarded by fear from so many different levels, and it triggers many different levels within our being. So whether we are taking in fear from media, social media, conversations with people, the energetics on the planet right now are huge in fear, and then adding that to our own discoveries, journeys, deep internal work that is eliciting anxiety right now, it really is a big hot pot of fear that can easily take us down, cause us to freeze and not move in action. And I'm not saying all of you are doing this, and they're not saying that we are all doing this, but in some ways it's hitting each of us on some level, in some way. And so the invitation always, Spirit always puts out an invite, is to see where is that affecting you? Where is fear kind of seeping in behind the scenes and triggering things within you when it doesn't have to be there? And so we continue to talk about fear, and it's still very important. So many of us are holding fear in our minds and our bodies and our hearts. And they wanted to emphasize this idea that a lot is being held in our bodies right now. I know for me even, I had this experience on the weekend where doing some yoga, I recognized how much energy was being held in my body that wasn't being processed. And I mean, I work out regularly and I dance regularly, but the more spiritual practice to me of yoga is where I could deeply get into my body, into the kind of like those dark crevices, those uncomfortable spots to hold, and start to discover the depths of the energy that's in there. And for some, they can be holding sadness, anger, fear. There's a lot of things that can be held in the body. And again, also there's places in the body where we hold beautiful energies and we want to access that. But if you're holding fear in your body, It's going to impinge on lots of different systems of the body, either your digestion, and you might find you have ABS or constipation, or it can be making it difficult for you to eat, right? Or fear could be this kind of vacuum energy that's causing you to want to eat a whole ton, right? It can be feeling constricting on our lungs. It can be causing headaches and stress in the brain. It can shorten our breathing when we have fear that wraps around our heart space and our diaphragm doesn't work properly. There's a lot of different ways that held energies in the body, and of course emphasizing fear, can affect the way our bodies function. So the same goes for how our heart and emotions function, and like they said, the mind in terms of anxiety. So there's a lot of things to consider here, and that's why fear is such a big contagion as they're comparing it. So they emphasize that, again, of course, our world is changing rapidly, and it's changing in many, many layers at a time, right? Simultaneously. That's a big change. And we have to remember, sometimes we're really impatient as humans, and we want everything to happen at once. But when a lot of things do happen at once, it often easily overwhelms us. So we have to be careful what we wish for. But the emphasis is we don't have to catch the virus of fear as we move through these layers. So the antidote to fear, they say, is conscious choice, which is what they've been reiterating throughout this process, right? And again, they mentioned there will be repeated messages, but they're repeating them in different ways so that it can hit us on the different levels. So we can take it in, transmute with that information and that knowledge, and become wiser for it, right? And then, as we embrace the antidote to fear, being conscious choice, we then aren't reacting to our situations or triggers in fear. We're reacting with choice. How do I want to be in this situation? What do I want to do as a result of what's happening external to me? What can I change in this environment and what can I not? What is of my control? Anything outside of my control is not for me to worry about because I can't change it. It is beyond my control. So then again, that becomes conscious choice. And so when we really take that into our actions, we have a greater ability to feel more peaceful, more harmonized, release our mind, body, and heart of stress energy. And we can move through these changes with a different perspective, which is what they talked about last week, right? So it was interesting because when they were explaining this, there was two of the three guides of light. Usually they kind of speak as one sort of telepathic, harmonious unit, but they often communicate to me in imagery. So as I'm being told the information, I'm also seeing it oftentimes metaphorically, so I can share with you guys an idea of how to understand it. And so in this one, it was really funny because they were trying to explain it and they were almost arguing, not arguing, but one was saying, explain it to her this way. And the other one was like, well, no, explain it this way. It'll make more sense. And so they said, one was saying that it was like a gear shifter, and the other one was saying that it was like a concept. And so the gear shifter explanation was that we have the opportunity to either drive the car automatically by simply putting it in drive, right? Or we can, did I say that right? Automatically? You know when you put your car in drive, right? You click it into drive and that's it because it's not standard. Or if you had a standard car, you get to drive it and choose how high you're going to rev the engine before you shift the gears, how fast you're going to shift the gears, when you're going to shift them on a hill, if you're going to power into it, if you're going to power down. You're taking more conscious choice in your driving versus just shifting it into drive, right? That was one of their explanations. The other one was about not being bound by the path that fear lays out. So that was the idea of, being able to take a side road and enjoy the scenery versus taking the highway and going straight there. So however you want to view it, this was the two kind of ideas they were trying to bring through about conscious choice versus fear seeping in and determining the pathway or the direction or the way in which you drive. So what they are doing to help us with this right now, so it wasn't just bringing up, you guys have to fix fear and fear is a contagion and there you have it. They were telling us as well that they're bringing in this beautiful violet frequency light for us right now. And some of you who are clairvoyant or vivid dreamers might be seeing this. You might be seeing purple orbs. You might be noticing a lot of your dream state occurs with a shade of purple, of violet. You may go into meditation and see violet energy around you. Some of you might even see it like a violet flame. But they're infusing our world with this high frequency violet light. And this violet light is really here to help us think beyond the fear, help us to rise above it. And it's a very peaceful violet energy. And again, violet energy is that of consciousness, of higher cosmic consciousness. And so this is something that we can really bring in, and they, again, are basically like wrapping the planet with this energy to bring us this peace of mind, to bring us this ability or this energy from above to help us choose the antidote. So this is why what they're doing is they're asking us right now to enhance our connection to them, and we can do that through vibrational frequencies. That's the easiest way at this moment. Because our minds are really busy, it's hard to simply be silent. And so they're saying, use music. Use the power of music, the vibrational frequencies of music, to help you connect with the higher realms, with what your body needs for grounding. So for example, if you're really needing earth grounding because you're very much up in the air, or you're up in your mind and your mind is spinning, music with heavy drumming or heavy tribal drumming, or if you're a drummer and you just go to town on your drums, that's going to pull your energy down into a very earth energy. It's going to help you ground it into the earth. You could even go as far as adding movement to that, like stomping your feet. But they're emphasizing the energy of music right now, okay? If you want to open up your higher chakras, your higher connection to spirit right now, and say you're too grounded right now and you want your energy to go up a little bit, then listening to high frequency music, you can go on to YouTube and Google different frequencies of music. If you Google high frequency hertz music, like 528 hertz music or above, you can access that higher frequency of consciousness. And the same goes for listening to classical music, they said as well. So if you're into classical music, spending time doing that will help you connect to those higher energies. And then for those of you that need some heart opening right now, say your heart is feeling really tight or rigid or constricted. If you need some heart opening energy right now, listen to energy that gives you the feeling of joy. Now, the reason why they're saying it that way versus telling us a specific kind is because what instills joy is different for each of us. So for me, I can instantly find that joy frequency if I listen to Bob Marley music. Everything is going to be all right. That song, that does it for me every time. Within like a count of 8, I'm there. So it depends on what that is for you, but find your joy music. Play your joy music if you need that heart-opening energy. So that was their idea about fear. Now, the second invitation was for us to really ponder the concept of reaping what we sow. So it's interesting they're bringing this up in the time of harvest, right? Because farmers are harvesting right now. And their question to us was, what do you think of your harvest this year? Do you like what you harvested? The idea is that you reap what you sow. So knowing that and seeing what you've harvested up to this point in this 2020 year, if you're liking what you see, keep planting those seeds. If you're not liking what you see, what are you going to plant differently for next year's harvest? And really be conscious of that. What is it that you want? It's such a good time right now to assess everything you've been through individually in this year and see if you're happy with what you see. Have you made really good progress, or do you look back and cringe? And if you're looking back and cringing, you probably don't want to plant that again next year. If you're looking back and you're thinking, yeah, you know what? I stumbled a bunch, but I've been growing and digging. This is amazing. Keep going and you'll keep finding more higher vibe things to plant. And if you look back and you're super proud of what you see and it's simply that, then awesome. Whichever one you are though, recognize it and choose accordingly, choose consciously. And that right there, in that moment of choosing consciously, no matter what you're looking back on, that is awesomeness right there, because that's recognition and then conscious choice moving forward. That's our greatest gift, our greatest gift. So they really want to encourage us that with moving forward in what we're planting, to remember that the veils are really thin right now. This whole month, we're in a month where we have 2 full moons, and it's in the month of October. The veils are really thin. We've got retrogrades, we've got planets that are super close. We've got so much energetic change right now, and the veils are thin for these changes, which is a beautiful gift energetically, a beautiful gift from the higher realms. Because with the veils being thin, your guides, angels, light beings, family members, friends that are here to guide you and help you can come so close to you to deliver messages, to deliver energies of comfort, of guidance. And so really tap into your intuition right now. And intuition, unfortunately, gets really blocked by fear. So if you're sitting in an energy of fear, it's going to be really hard to hear what your intuition has to say. So again, coming back to conscious choice, releasing the binds that tie you into fear allows you space to explore your intuition, explore what you feel about certain things, certain opportunities, certain relationships, certain people, certain paths moving forward. What does your intuition feel? And for those of you that don't understand how to feel with intuition, feel into your body. When you think of a certain opportunity, where do you feel that question of that opportunity in your body? Is it in your tummy? Is it in your heart? In your head? In your knees? Where in your body do you feel it? And then when you recognize where you feel it, ask yourself, what is it telling you? Is it an energy that's saying, no, 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 don't do it? Is it like a disharmonic energy with edges? Or is it a peaceful energy with an abundance and flow that's urging you to move forward in that path? That's how your intuition can start to talk to you. And that's why, again, the invitation is the veils are thin right now. So dive into your intuition, dive into your connection with your guides, because we all have them. We all have guides, angels, family members and friends that are looking out for us, wanting to guide us. And so throughout this month, we can amplify that connection. And so it's really an opportunity to take advantage of it. Take advantage of the beauty that is this time, right now, today, no matter what's going on. Today is your day to recognize where fear is hanging on, to step up and out of that fear, to dive into opening energies through music to up your frequency and your connection to your guides, family members, and loved ones, and to dive into that intuitive sense of self that is urging you forward. This is all 100% within your grasp and your reach. And they're inviting us, me included, I was talking to them just this morning again, to dive into this over and over and over. Anytime a fear point comes in, dive in again and discover what it is. Most of the time, it's not going to be as scary as it feels when you're running from it. Don't be afraid to ask your guides for that guidance. You know, sometimes I find that I am so used to asking guides information for other people in readings, in channelings, that I forget to ask for myself. And so this morning they're reminding me, they're saying, you can also talk directly to us too. And I was like, well, I know. And they're like, but you don't. I was like, oh, I guess I don't. And so I had a wonderful conversation with them this morning. And for me, that conversation might be a little bit different than from how you guys have a conversation. But that doesn't matter. The fact is, it's opening the door to receive the insights. And so I encourage you guys to do that. Take advantage of it right now. And I really wish you guys so well, and so do all of the energies in the cosmos. Truly, the 3 guides of the light, and who they're saying and who we represent, the light that we represent is helping to guide all of you. So you all are truly not alone. And if some of you are really feeling alone right now, I can tell you that you're not. You might just not be looking towards the light right now, and so you only see dark, but you're not alone. We're all being supported through this transition, through this year, through this month, through this week, and through this day and moment. We're supported. So I wish you guys well, love you guys lots, and we'll see what comes up next week. Have a good rest of your day.